Welcome to 5 Good Minutes. You're listening to today's inspirational message on the fruit of the Spirit with Bjorklund.
So we've been looking at joy as one of the fruit of the Spirit, but joy is something that is mentioned many times in the New Testament. Here's an instance. John 15:11. Jesus is speaking. He said, "These things I've spoken to you, that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be full." Now, what are these things? Well, the whole section is on He's the vine, and he who abides in him will bear much fruit. So, fruit of the Spirit, fruit here, Jesus analogy, the vine. I'm the vine, abide in me, you'll bear much fruit. And he ends the whole section by saying, "These things I've spoken to you, that my joy may be in you, and your joy may be full." So Jesus wants me to experience life joyfully and fully. So to the degree that my life is not marked by joy, that your life is not marked by joy, there's a sense in which we are not living in the reality of our spiritual inheritance, but we're living instead in something altogether different. And so how do we take the joy that we have been given and experience it to the full? You know, there's often a gap between what it is that we feel like we could or should experience and the reality of our experience. Steve Cuss writes about this in a book that he has called The Expectation Gap. And here's what he says. He says, "Have you ever felt like you're on a treadmill to nowhere? It is difficult to get off a treadmill like that, but it's almost impossible when you don't know you're on the treadmill in the first place. So much of our faith experience is deeply tied to our assumption about ourselves, the false reality we live in. We don't stop to think about these assumptions. We just sort of keep running, wearing us down. And they play a critical role in creating and maintaining the gaps between our expectation and our experience of God." And what happens for many of us is we don't take the time to say, if God wants me to live joyfully, why am I not living joyfully? And I don't see this as an exercise of beating ourselves up with I guess I should be more joyful. I need to try harder to be joyful. But what is it that I'm missing in the experience of God? If this is the fruit of the Spirit, living joyfully, why is it that I'm not living joyfully? And I started the week talking about what we glory in and how sometimes our sense that we need something to have a joyful life, whatever that thing is, and if we don't have it, then we can't be joyful, truly joyful, is one of the great deterrents to joy. And so what I want to encourage you to do is to really try to name that thing or those things in your life. Maybe even get out a piece of paper, an old-fashioned piece of paper, a note on your phone or something, and write down, these are the things, the expectations I have, and why somehow I feel slighted if my life does not have it. And what could my life look like even if it never came to be? And whatever that thing is, God may give that to you in abundance, He may not, but His desire is that your joy would be full with or without it. And so the question is, could my life be joyful even if I never had that thing? And if not, then that thing has had so much power in your life that it is actually keeping you from the fullness of joy. And so the challenge is to say, how can I find my glory, locate my glory in Jesus Christ, and abide in Him in such a way that I have full joy regardless of whatever else may or may not happen in my life.
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.